This is day 817 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If I can sponsor Arukh HaShulchan more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please come me directly, very greatly appreciated. Today we're doing Simon, uh, Tuf Kuf Yud Gimel, Steve Dalid, through Yud Aleph. Okay, then we were talking about yesterday, Hachana for Yom Chol. Dalid, Yom Chol, in terms of a weekday following Yom Tov Shabbos, we can compare any source we said yesterday. The Baruch Enu Tzrichim L'mar Dal Cholo we're compelled to say Dal Cholo Shachin Yal Chol. The Shabbat Chana is not relevant to weekdays at all. The Loke Beit Shishon Echo B'Shabbos. Otherwise, an egg which is laid any Sunday, an egg which is laid on Sunday should become usher. Titzim shouldn't ask to cook because it's finished yesterday. By Shabbos Me'en Chol, Shabbos will be preparing for a weekday. So too, an egg which is born on Isruchag, laid on Isruchag, should be usher. So Rabbi Seinu, the Suda is called Enech Leshuva. And that the rabbis wrote that Rashi in places that the Suda of weekday is not significant. And we don't say there's preparation for it. Hey, in the Sarva Beitza Zu Afilu Be'elef, this egg got mixed up, the egg which is laid on Yontif, on Yontif Ima, mixed up in 1,000. Kuna Surah also in a potato, it's not nullified, the double Sheesh return, something which will become mutter after time, and a butter for the Bissa Ravanon, even in a rabbinic prohibition, it's not butter. The Kosh can amount the sphere laid debates of the double Sherminium. It's especially true if an egg is considered to be an object which is always counted. Butter. There it's not butter because it's always counted. No real skin answer can most person don't know that way because eggs are occasionally sold by estimate. Much closer you're there, Simon race some kuf yud ayin sham. But if you yourself, you know to be under the whole, even if it's not sure if it was laid on you on a weekday, gam kane, I'm sure it's also forbidden. But I feel sorry if Zeh has suffix, and even if this suffix got mixed up, be'elef in 1,000, call me tam again, even though it's a suffix and it's butter, be'elef. It still has to come down to because all count because it's going to come mutter tomorrow anyway. Shebelayla thing muteres, or that the next night to be mutter. That's Shemar the Stam Yontif muteres. It's possible that on a Stam Yontif, in other words, it's not a Yontif which follows Shabbos. The Stam Yontif should be mutter, and Mishnah Berurah says what we're about to say, which not relying except Mokam have said, but Arukh HaShulchan says to have a fake the Rabbanim. It's a fake for the Rabbanim. Safik, the fake second. Safik knows to be Yontif. It's questionable whether it was laid on Yontif. I guess we're not sure. It's Yontif Shema Eina Zula Shulchan Tarovis, and maybe it's not the one which we took out of the mixture. Have a Yontif Shachar Shabbos. Yontif after Shabbos have a fake second the Raisa. Then it's the fake second in the Raisa, and therefore the fake second the Chumrah. Mil biyardei Hashem nizbar that close fake sveka shesafik ebuhu v'savik tarovis lo mikres fake sveka. Yardei and Simon Kufiyud it becomes it's stated that a suffix where one suffix is a question of the thing itself, the other is the fact that it's murav. That's not called fake sveka. And Shom like Rabbanan comes and mikres fake sveka. Many Rabbanan is also called fake sveka. Yardei Simon Kufiyud. Last time Simon Tov Tzadik Zayin. Very few of us live on chicken farms. Almost all none of this is relevant to us today. Above, Kasar Avena, but he says Siv Gimel. Peitzah Shnol Yontiv, an egg which laid in Yontiv, Shneis Bashla B'Shoigeg, which is cooked inadvertently in basar with meat, the tavshil, and a cooked dish, and Yeshish connected with 60 corresponding to that, mutter, everything is mutter, chutz, and a beitza, except for the egg. Leave nubo tavshil, chayetzi b'zeh, but if they use it to whiten or, like the shmir on a challah, to make the challah shining, so chayetzi b'zeh, the meat is the chazus of time of it, which is look to give it a different, something was made to give it a different look or a different taste. Low batil, it's not nullified. Akal shona and from the base Yosef. By the time the Hani Shishim, these are my 60 works, Bishum the Mino, because the double Shesh is only a problem by mean bin Mino. But mean Bishano Mino, such as here where we need to be Mabato, the egg vis-a-vis the meat or the other cooked dish. Atam the Mahani Mashishim Mino got double Shishim, but of Shishim. Say no Mino, but it's but of Shishim, much love you're there, Simon Kopes. Which show love. That's on the basis of the Lama on Shishim, when he's 60, a little Beitza, says Tom Cloud. But you're there, sim pay vav. An egg doesn't give taste. The Maya debates say Maya the amoninu. The water of an egg is just water. So that's specifically where you cooked an egg in its shell. But not here we're talking about where you cook the egg not in its shell. So it's water of eggs cooked in shells doesn't have any taste. But water when the egg is not cooked in shells does give a taste. Klomar kashimikodem bashlua v'kofua. First they cooked it, and then they peeled it. Bishlo sabatavshil. I guess so you can recognize where it is. So it's a hard boiled egg, which then you cook inside like your children or something. So the basis name so the egg is complete. The circumcision they need 60 convert we are there sham. The taste is bottle even by double sheish material. Getting a feeling is bashla bebates him even if it's cooked in eggs, which is mean bimino. Ganke bottle. The taste which this egg gave, the usher egg, and the other eggs is bottle. It's only the egg itself which is not bottle in the other eggs. So if you can identify the egg, you're fine. Remove the egg, the taste is not a problem. Mr. Bruce says, in place where you're going to have a curtailment of your simchas, you don't have to rely on this. It's fine. That what you said, which is made for appearance and for taste, not bottle. Klomar, meaning that feel mino, even if it's mean b'she'eno mino, it's a different type. Have a kamino, it's like in its own type, ain't a bottle but double sheish material. It's not bottle, but it's a double sheish material. It's only if it's made for appearance or for taste. If it's not made for appearance, bottle. I should say this. I messed it up. It's only if it's made for both, not either or. Chazusa and taima. But if it's not made for appearance, bottle after the taima, it's bottle even if it's made for taste. That is Arukh HaShulchan's opinion, but she brings down that the Shach and the Gra say even if it's made just for time, it's not bottle. Arukh HaShulchan, she does has to be for both, nor not to be bottle. Even if it's even though it enhances the pot, it still would be bottle. The near bar, it seems clear that if until nightfall the cooked dish is going to be ruined, the bottle. The klagotelu b'davar sheish l'materin. The great prince of davar sheish l'materin. Lo mikol yesh l'materin actually skalkel. So I go davar sheish l'materin. It's not going to get ruined by the time it becomes permitted. Much because you're there sham. The dye you show the mutter supposed to abate kli. If you have an egg which is forbidden, you can put a vessel on top of it. I'm a clean hito davar sheish nito. Because we paskin move a kli for the purpose of which can't be carried. Which causes him shinyur. The bachi zosh a kli lo yigaba. As long as you're careful that the kli doesn't touch it. The yasa you're not nedena, because when you touch it, when it touches it, it's going to if the kli touches it, it's going to make a wobble. The two Yom Tovim, which we have in Chutzlaretz. No, the Bezeh, it's laid on the first day, Mutar Zeh, it's Mutar on the second day. Because one of them is definitely a weekday. On Rosh Hashanah, but on Rosh Hashanah, no, the Yom Rishon is laid on the first day of Sukkot Shnei, it's still us on the second day, the Chag Tushi, because Rosh Hashanah, it's not Tzveik of the Yoma, it's a different thing. So therefore, it's considered one Kedusha, the Kedusha Richa, and it is a long Kedusha. Kain Shabbos Yontif Smuchim Zelazeh and Sotiv Shabbos Yontif come out adjacent to each other. No, the Bezev, it's born on whichever one goes first, Shabbos Yontif. Asur Bezev, it's also the second day. V'avakai Kaim Lon Shtei Kedush, the same, even though they're two separate Kedushos. V'gam Achona Lo Shayach B'leida, and also the fact that it's laid is not really the Achona, which is Havnu, as we have written. Nonetheless, Rabbanon Asur, because it is like Achona. Sharatzion says that that's among Abraham's opinion, but somehow Bichem holds the Raisa. Klamar came in the Yom Rishon Asur Rabbanon. Since the first day it's also the Rabbanon. If we meet on the second day, it'll come out that the first day period for the second day. The lo la'atzmo, not for itself. Vein Shabbos Yontif Mechinim Zelozen. Shabbos Yontif cannot prepare for each other. Venim says Zokain. Kakein Achona. It's a little bit like Achona. You know that Shabbos, if it was late on Shabbos, so Yontif Shel Golios B'Yom Rishon, and the next day was Yontif Sheni Shel Golios. Ushnei. No, Yontif Shel Golios B'Yom Rishon Sheni. No, it's just the 2 days Yontif after Shabbos. Shabbos, Sunday, Monday. The Muteres B'Sheni Shel Shabbos. It's Muter on Monday. It was late on Shabbos. Yontif Shel Shabbos, so the Yontif came before Shabbos. B'Chamishi V'Shishi. Thursday, Friday, says Shabbos. No, the B'Chamishi was late on the Thursday. Muter Shabbos, Muter into Shabbos. Yontif Rishon B'Chagam Sur Kol Shlosh Yom. But Yontif Rishon, it's also all 3 days. The bracket says, "My law meaning me Yontif Shel Golios, miulis katzoi lebein hashmos chulei amishlam esimin tov reish lam chesipei." Why don't we say it's also on the second day Yontif? Because that bein hashmos is preceding, which is bein hashmos yichin. The first day and the second day you couldn't use it, so since it was muktzah during bein hashmos, it should remain also for the entire next day. It says we'll get that much later on. Test based on shiatza beruba me'erev Yontif, an egg which came up mostly on erev Yontif. Chazan me'ad then was sucked back into the innards. But I know the Yontif was laid on Yontif proper. Muteretz, it's mutter. Came in the Yotzas Ruba, since the majority came before Yontif, Chashin Lak Yilul, it's as if it was laid then. Therefore, some of I feel Badak Pekino Shem Tani Golas, Erev Yontif. Even if you checked in the nest of the hen, Erev Yontif, some of Chashecha right before nightfall. V'lomatza Beitza, you didn't find an egg there. L'machar Yishkim Matza Beitza, and more next day you got up early and found an egg there. Muteretz, it's permitted. The Kimlu Chazal took the position. The Shatan Gonos Eino Yoledes Balayla before the advent of artificial light, but that hen does not lay an egg at night. So it must have been laid before Yontif began. Lo Matzah, you didn't find it. Or Yotzo, or when it came out, Yotzo Ruba must have come out because it went back in. From Chazal, the Zabatani Goles, Yoledes Mizachar. That is anyway by a hen which lays on account of its relationship with a male, with a rooster. You'll let us beitzim michamim with a karka, but those who just give birth to eggs from the heat of the earth, meaning that without having a male fertilize it, you can also lay the egg at night. Im yesh tanago zachar b'tol shishim batim. So there's a male rooster within 60 houses of the hen, and there's no river in the middle. Shem Bogesher, which doesn't have, there's no river in the middle, which doesn't have a bridge. You assume everything comes from the rooster. But it's more 60 houses away. There's a river without a bridge. Asura, it's forbidden. When you checked it yesterday, right before nightfall, you didn't find it. Because it could have been late during the night, and without it wasn't fertilized. And lo badak, but if you didn't check, I'm chaygam l'shaya. In this case, mutter shanu told him, we make the assumption shemi esmol noda that from yesterday was already laid. Shuban yodas biyom, most of them laid during the day. Afil below zachar, without a male present. V'zel bebadak bar hayom. That's you check by the light of the day. Charkach b'chon yom, but you didn't check by the light of the day. Bar yom, when the day became light. In other words, at first crack of sunrise. You check later on. It's also matter what. Because maybe the laying was this morning. Even though it's a question, doubtful. In spite of the suffix also, we said in these cases the suffix remains forbidden. Shabur says, Big Chumash says you have to check before Los HaShachar. If you checked after Los HaShachar, it's for following. Because maybe it was laid in those few moments after Los HaShachar. This is why you can purchase eggs from a non-Jew on the first night of Yontif. Shum Devade know the B'Yom they're certainly laid during the day. In the night of the second night of Yontif, Sheni Shagolios, because they must have laid the preceding day. Avalo below Sheni Shalosh, not the second night of Hashem, below Sheni Shalosh Yontif, not the second night of a sequence of Shabbos Yontif, Hasmukim Zelaseh, which are adjacent to each other. And the other time she's worried because of reasons which we have explained. Maybe Beitzim beyond Tavrishon, Mesil Vitumo. A non-Jew brings eggs on the Yontif Rishon and tells us innocently, without trying to cause some halachic ramification. That they were laid yesterday. Mutal Smokolo. allowed to rely on him. It doesn't enhance his merchandise. Contrary, the less fresh it is, the less it's worth. So therefore, we can believe him. Alien King Yodea, the Deabasi Omat fake, because the egg, same day egg is superior. And King Yodea, unless he knows the halacha. She saw also in a letter say home that for a Jew, egg which is late day is also. The Oz ain't no name on, they does not believe the Shema Omer, maybe saying the Kadesh Yichum Menu, so buy from it. Basically, she saw the eggs belong to a Jew. Who may say be too much and he's innocently tells us that they were laid yesterday. Nama is believed that feel they didn't. Even though it's halacha, so he's not making profit off of it, not making money. They belong to the Jew anyway. Nevertheless, to those who answer, they should write like those who are matir. B'chetz is by your there you sim some chesed any Yehudi shel mochel abasar v'shan is barbas. It's a similar case about a non-Jew who salted meat. Not presumably not a Yosef. Yirav b'Shabbos Yontav asmuchim Shabbos Yontav which are adjacent to each other. This is Mishum Achana the Raisa. This is the Achana is the Raisa. Pshita she'enu nemon. Silvu Tumba is not believed even if he's telling us innocently. The Raisa lo b'slam chinan dvarav. The rights are only lying, a non-Jew who tells us things innocently, except Rak Isha Shemez Bala, vis-a-vis a woman whose husband has died. Mitam she's Baba Simon Eben Ezra Simon Yuzain. The reason given Eben Ezra that she confirms what he has to say. The love shad for him, not in anything else. That does not believe on the second day. But Rosh Hashanah Nama, Rosh Hashanah is believed. That be the Rabbanon, because it's only the Rabbanon. Even though it's Kedusha Richla. If it's clear that they're already relayed for you on difficult Shesh Ribu Beitzim is such that there's lots of eggs. After Smokal of Gamish Kam Shabbos Yontif Gulan him also when Shabbos Yontif is juxtaposed. Rova Mochim Beitzim also should know the Kvar, and most people sell eggs for those which were laid already previously. Mishabur writes that the Magavrom holds that only when there's a suspicion that they were laid on the second day and prepared, again the Yom Tov Shabbos juxtaposed, and therefore were prepared yesterday, that's a problem. But if he brings them before Los Shachar, when it's clear that they weren't laid at in the nighttime, and therefore even if they were laid on the first day, it's just only the Rabbana, because we said before that the Ikra is not the Leda, but what goes on inside. So then you would be allowed to be lenient. Sharatin writes, even take a lot of eggs, it's mutter midaraisa because midaraisa one usher egg is buttered in many eggs. But he says it's possible you should be machmir to eat each one independently. I guess it's porridge from the rove. And Mishabura writes that all this is when the non-Jew brings the eggs to the house of the Jew. But if the Jew goes to the house of the non-Jew, so it's no called porridge, it's kavua. That's the problem. And well, then you can't rely on the non-Jew in that case. Okay, Arukh HaShulchan doesn't bring any of that down. Even though the Yud Beis is last sif in the Simon, it's a long one, so we'll leave it for tomorrow, which is his proper day.